What is politics? People are very interested in politics. There is an election for the National Assembly of Korea in April. Each political party is announcing the candidate. Many people are worried about the current political situation and express their political thought. Politics is essential to our lives and has a great influence on our lives. Therefore, we must increase our understanding of politics and play a role that can contribute to the development of society and the country through political participation. This semester should be a semester in which we think deeply about Korean politics and seek political development. First, the definition of politics. Politics is about setting the rules of society and deciding how people live together. Politics is where the people who make up the government decide how to run the country, make laws, and set rules that everyone must follow. Additionally, politics involves activities where people share their opinions and coordinate different ideas to achieve common goals. Simply put, politics is about the rules and decisions people make to live together. Politics is about setting the rules of society and deciding how people live together, which means that politics is closely connected to our daily lives. To explain this in more detail, setting the rules of society. Politics set the basic rules of society by creating laws, regulations, and policies. For example, traffic laws, tax policies, and educational systems are all created and maintained by political decisions. These rules help society run in order and provide fairness and stability. To further explain the role of politics in the context of setting the rules of society, enactment of laws and regulations. Politics enact laws and regulations through the National Assembly, Congress, or other legislative bodies. To further explain the role of politics in making law and regulations, local legislative bodies such as the National Assembly are the main bodies that make laws. These institutions are made up of elected representatives who represent the interests and opinions of voters from diverse social, economic, and cultural backgrounds. Legislative bodies are responsible for proposing, debating, amending, and passing bills. Lawmaking process. The lawmaking process usually begins with a proposal of a bill. Bills may be proposed by the government, individual members of parliament, or specific committees. Afterward, the bill goes through several stages of review and discussion, and during this process, public hearings, expert opinions, and discussion may be taken. After the bill has been thoroughly discussed and revised, it is finally adopted into law through a vote. Democratic participation and transparency. The lawmaking process must be transparent and open, and public participation and opinions must be reflected. For this purpose, public hearings, opinion polls, and online discussion forums can be used. Democratic participation is important to ensure that laws reflect the public interest and gain public support. Development of regulations and policies. In addition to laws, political decisions influence the development of specific regulations or policies by government agents or the public sector. These regulations and policies set out more details within the standards established by law and provide guidance for the administration and operation of specific areas. Enforcement and supervision of laws. After law was enacted, government agencies are responsible for implementing and supervising the laws. This process allows the government to check whether law is working effectively as intended and take further action if necessary. In this way, enactment of laws and regulations is one of the important functions of politics and serves to set basic rules and standards of society and protect the safety and welfare of the people and public interest. This process must be based on democratic principles and transparency, and must take into account diverse social voices and interests. Tax policy. Politics manage the country's finance and determine tax policies to raise the necessary funds. Tax provides the financial resource needed to build various public services and infrastructure in the country. Tax policy determines who should pay, how much tax, and how tax revenues are used. Education system. Politics ensure that members of society acquire the necessary knowledge and skills through the education system. This includes the structure of schooling, curricula, qualification system, and the level of government support for education. Education policy plays an important role in nurturing a country's future human resources. Maintaining a social order. Politics creates systems to maintain law and order. It establishes a system, including institutions such as police, courts, and prisons, to enforce the law and punish violations. These systems help keep society stable and peaceful, providing fairness and stability. Politics provides stability and fairness in society through fair enforcement of the law and ensuring equal rights for all citizens. This is achieved by prohibiting discrimination, protecting rights, and providing equal opportunities. Political decisions affect a variety of areas, and they lay the foundation for society to function and develop smoothly. Deciding how people live together, politics coordinates the interests and the demands of various members of society and make decisions for the public good. For example, health policy, environmental protection, national defense, and public welfare. These decisions provide directions for how people live together. Coordination of interest and demands. Politics coordinate the interest and demands of various groups and individuals in society. People have different backgrounds, values, and needs. The politics is the process of harmonizing this diversity and resolving conflicts. For example, finding a balance between protection of workers' rights and the economic activities of companies is one of the roles of politics. Health policy. Politics establish health policy to protect the health and safety of the people. This includes management of health facilities, quality and accessibility of health service, and disease prevention and response strategies. For example, health policy determines vaccination programs, responses to public health crises, health insurance systems, and more. Environmental protection. Politics establish policies that protect the environment and pursue sustainable development. This includes regulations and guidelines on our pollution, climate change, resource management, etc. Political decisions may take the form of increasing the use of renewable energy, setting carbon emissions reduction targets, and establishing nature reserves. Defense policy. Politics determines policies regarding national security and defense. This includes national security strategy, maintenance and development of military force, and allocation of the defense budget. Defense policy plays an important role in protecting our country's territory and ensuring the safety of its citizens. Public welfare. Politics protect the socially vulnerable and establish public welfare policies so that all citizens can maintain a basic standards of living. This comes in many forms, including welfare for the elderly, child protection support for the disabled, and support for the unemployed. Public welfare policies are important for promoting social stability and fairness. These political decisions provide the basic framework for how people live together. This does not simply affect the lives of individuals, but plays an important role in shaping the way entire society are structured and function. Representation and decision-making. Politics involves the process of people electing people to represent them and making important decisions. In a democratic system, representatives are elected through elections, and they enact laws and establish policies by reflecting the opinions of the people. To elaborate more on representation and decision-making, it is one of the core principles of democratic political system. This principle consists of the following elements. Basic principles of democracy. The most important principles of democracy is that every adult citizen has the right to participate in the political decision-making process. This is accomplished through the process of electing their own representatives through elections, and those representatives making important decisions on behalf of the people. Electoral process. Elections are the main way of choosing representatives in a democracy. Citizens express their political preferences through voting and choose from among a variety of candidates the person who best represents their interests and values. This process must be fair and free, providing equal opportunities for all voters. Role of representatives. Elected representatives serve in Congress or other legislative bodies and are responsible for making laws and establishing policies. They are responsible for making rational and fair decisions that reflect the interests and opinions of the voters they represent. Reflect the public opinion. It is important for elected representatives to regularly communicate with their constituents and listen to their opinions. To this end, we use various means such as public meetings, opinion polls, and online platforms to listen to voters' voice and reflect them in policy decisions. Policy making and the legislative process. Representatives participate in the process of finding solutions to social, economic, and environmental problems and implementing them into laws and policies. Now that we have established how politics define we will see movies about American presidents.
Number 5. What do you say? I want you to be my VP. I want you. You're my vice. Well, George, I'm a CEO of a large company. And I'm Secretary of Defense. And I have been White House Chief of Staff. Vice presidency is a mostly symbolic job. However, if we came to a different understanding, I can handle mundane jobs. We're seeing bureaucracy, military, energy, I like that.
Got a plan. When you have power, people will always try to take it from you, always.
You're more ruthless than you used to be. So we're gonna do this thing, or what? I mean, is this happening? I believe we can make this work. Hot damn.
Number 4.
We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
We can't tell our people they can vote yes on abolishing slavery unless at the same time we can tell them that you're seeking a negotiated peace.
It's either the amendment or this Confederate peace. You cannot have both.
How many hundreds of thousands have died during your administration?
Congress must never declare equal those whom God created unequal. The Constitution alone. We're stepped out upon the world stage now. The fate of human dignity in our hands. Blood's been spilled to afford us this moment now.
Lincoln has asked us to work with him to accomplish the death of slavery.
No one's ever been loved so much by the people. Don't waste that power.
This fight is for the United States of America. We choose to be born, but we fit into the times we're born into.
I don't know about myself. You may be.
Thing for all coming time. Not only of the millions now in bondage, but of unborn millions to come.
Shall we stop this bleeding?
Number 3.
Good evening. I shall resign the presidency at noon tomorrow. This is a historic day. The only time a president has ever resigned from office.
The man who has committed the greatest felony in American history will never stand trial.
I have an idea for an interview. We should take it.
You're a talk show host. Yesterday, watching you interview the BG.
When they do it, why would I want to talk to David for? I got $500,000.
Really?
Frost has fired 3 black investigators.
Can I be crack one?
Can I be deep crack? Can I shake his hand?
After everything he's done in this country. Are you kidding me?
Oh, pleasure to meet you.
Mr. President, that was devastating. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to get over that. Ross is just not in your class, sir. You're going to be able to rebuild your reputation. This entire project is a joke.
I do hope that isn't coming out of your own pocket.
I wish my pockets were that deep. It's for everything I've got.
There's a reason they call it Tricky Dick. Stand by to roll tape.
You had a pleasant evening last night?
Yes, 4, 3, 2.
Did you want to fornicate?
You, David. American people need a conviction. I'd like to give Richard Nixon the trial he never had. Democracy depends on it.
We're not going to let that happen.
We're going to make them choke on power and glory.
Why didn't you burn the tape?
I didn't want to take any questions on Watergate.
I will ruin you. It takes the rest of my life. What have I done? If in this interview, Nixon exonerates himself for, that would be the worst crime of all. 3, 2, you did.
Are you really saying the president do something illegal?
I'm saying that when the president does it, that means it's not illegal.
I'm sorry.
Number 2.
Base 1 to Unit 1. Base 1 to Unit 1. Police! There's been a break-in at Democratic headquarters. They were bugging the place. Woodward, Bernstein, you're both on the story now. Don't get up.
Redford. I'm Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. Mr. Markham, are you here in connection with the Watergate burglary?
I'm not here.
Hoffman. Hi, this is Carl Bernstein of the Washington Post, and I was just wondering if you can remember All the President's Men, the story of the 2 young reporters who cracked the Watergate conspiracy.
White House.
Howard Hunt, please.
He might be at Mr. Colson's office.
Who's Charles Colson? Did you know Howard Hunt?
Well, the White House said he was doing some investigative work.
What do you say? They stumbled into leads.
Certainly it comes as no surprise to you that Howard was with the CIA.
No surprise at all. They tripped over clues.
We'd like to see all the material he places on the White House.
All White House transactions are confidential. This whole thing is a cover-up. It's right on our nose.
And piece by piece, they solved the greatest detective story in American history.
There is no way the White House can control the investigation.
I don't want to say anymore, okay?
You've been threatened if you tell the truth.
Is there a cover-up?
Don't you understand what you're on to? Mitchell knew. Of course, Mitchell knew.
Woodward! Bernstein! Get in here!
At times, it looked as if it might cost them their jobs.
You guys are about to write a story that says the former Attorney General, the highest-ranking law enforcement officer in this country, is a crook.
Their reputations,
Why is the Post trying to do it? I don't know.
perhaps even their lives.
Number 1.
If I answer that question you keep asking, if I give you the name of the big enchilada, you know, then it's Bon Voyage Dino. I mean like permanent. I mean like a bullet in my head, you dig? Does that help you see my problem a little better?
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a flash of light in the bushes, and then shots rang out.
Well, cloak and dagger stuff, you know. They call it Operation Mongoose.
It's gonna be okay, Dave. You just talk to us on the record and we'll protect you. I guarantee it.
So nice.
I was in your office. We think the conference room is also about ready to solve. I'm not cooperating here. Listen, there's a death warrant for me.
Are the same things gonna kill us, Pop?
Nobody's gonna kill us. Y'all gotta get into your minds how the hell the spooks think. Now, they're not ordinary crooks. Think the unthinkable. Question everything. Now, we're through the looking glass here, people. White is black, and black is white. You don't believe me?
All this time, you never believe me.
Raise our children and live a normal life. I want my life back.
This thing's bigger than all of us. How many cops is it going to take for you lawyers to figure out what you like?
You've got to know. You've got to know why he was killed.
You don't think that for me? I'm not dead there. Well, if they can kill the president, they can certainly get me.
Your house fighting a gorilla.
Is it close? Closer than you think.
There's going to be an attempted kill you somewhere between here and you are.
I say let justice be done over heaven's fall.
If you agree with our list, please let us know in the comments. And for more top 5